Welcome back, YouTube. For this first video that we're going to be reacting to, um, do you, do you like the internet? Is it sometimes you have good days on it, sometimes you have bad days on it, sometimes you just wish it would go away, sometimes you wish it didn't exist. I don't know, man, but apparently, the internet is dead because there is a day the internet died. Let me show you. Let me show you. Boom. The day internet died by the YouTube channel Upper Echelon. By the way, did YouTube just change their layout or something for computers? Like, used to have like other information down here about the, whatever. Anyway, we're gonna check this video out, see why Upper Echelon thinks the day, though there has been a day that the internet died, or maybe he means like the day the internet got infected by brain rot content and is like slowly started dying since then. Or maybe he's like a bunch of AI slop content has polluted the internet, and so technically the internet's dead to him for most part. Maybe like at least social media and maybe some streaming shit and maybe some other shit. I don't know. But we're gonna find out what he means by that. So come along, let's play this video and see what's good. As always, links to the video
What
and the
is
channel
the internet?
will be in the
Right?
description
What is
below.
it?
Wow.
Different people give different answers, of course, but more often than not, the answer that you get is almost mythical in nature. For most people, the internet is some sort of ethereal constant. It's a digital world that exists almost as its own separate reality, and while disruptions can happen when it comes to connectivity, the internet itself is typically perceived as an indestructible distributed network of computers.
Uh-huh.
On the most basic fundamental level, the assumption is kind of true. We've all experienced situations where the Wi Fi router was down, thereby disrupting our own personal access, or a specific website.
Have you ever had the Wi-Fi drop while in the middle of a League of Legends match, and it just and your team could have been winning? Your team was while your team is winning. No, while your team is winning, and just gone. Just scrambling, running around, trying to fix your internet, trying to figure out what's going on. Like, I gotta get back into the game. I gotta get back into the game. My team needs me. We were winning. I hope they can win without me. And if you were carrying, it's like, oh, they can't win without me. I don't want to let my team down. At least that's how I'd be feeling. When I used to play League of Legends. I haven't played in months now. I think I played one time in like 6 months, maybe 5 months. But damn, those were stressful times, bro. Those were stressful times. And then you finally get back in. The game takes a while to load up. And the game takes a while to load up. And the game takes a while to load up. Excuse me. And then boom, you're back you're back at the end game screen. The game loaded in. The game actually concluded when you were gone, and it brought you right back to the end game stream after it finished trying to load the game a couple of times. And your team lost. And your teammates reported you because you left the game while you were carrying, when it really wasn't your fault. You were just got disconnected for no random fucking reason. It could be completely League's fault, Riot's fault. But they do not do anything to like take away the reports on you or anything like that. Ugh. Wow, that trip down memory lane just reminded me why I'm so glad I'm not playing League of Legends anymore. Holy fuck! There's so much better stuff to do with your life. Sorry, I just had to get that. Let's go.
Site that we wanted to browse went offline, but the internet, generally speaking, is almost entirely unaffected by individual problems. However, much the same way consolidation happens across all of human society, corporate, political, financial, etc., consolidation of internet services has also been happening, and quickly. Back when it first began, actually a little bit after it first began, because the original version of the internet was called ARPANET, which was a government creation during the Cold War for academic and research organizations.
I never knew about that. ARPANET? Why ARPANET? Did ARPANET, Mr. ARPANET create it? Or Mr. ARPANET? Mr. ARPANET? Mr. ARPANET? I don't know. Did one of them create it? I mean, that's a good reason that to make it. Obviously, they had a good reason for making it. Cold War, and they wanted to make sure they had information um, in a place where it was organized. What?
But anyway, back when it first began, after standardized communication protocols emerged and mass adoption took place, the internet, functionally speaking,
ARPANET.
was a real distributed network. Typically referred to as the Golden Age, loosely between the year 2000 and 2014, plus or
Previously known
minus
as
a few,
ARPANET.
the internet was an actual place of creative freedom. Individualism, user generated content, and minimal monetization were some of the hallmarks, but the real
Hold
underpillism
up.
user
That Einstein? Did y'all see that? Look, right here, right here, right here. Here's one eye, right here on the right. Here's another eye right here on the left. And in between this mass of white, in between, it's like the bridge of the nose. And then down here is the mustache and the beard. Look,
generated content and minimal monetization were
I don't know why I think it's Einstein for some reason, but that's just definitely a face. It's like it's just looking to the left. It's looking this way to the left. Y'all see that shit? Here, let it rotate one more time.
between the year 2000 and 2014, plus or minus a few. The internet was an actual place
Boom,
of creative
boom.
freedom.
All right,
Individualism,
boom, boom,
user generated
boom, boom.
content, and minimal monetization were some of the hallmarks. But the real underpinning factor that made the internet great was a lack of
That's awesome. I think it's Einstein or it's a face. That's definitely a face. You can't tell me that's not a face. Bridge of the nose. Here's the nose right here. Then the two eyes, and then the mustache and the beard. Come on, bro. That's gotta be a face.
were some of the hallmarks, but the real underpinning factor that made the internet great was a lack of corporate dominance. Back in the golden years, you were interacting with real people. The websites and forums, especially that you visited, were populated with actual human beings, often made by someone, the forums were, who had passion or interest in specific subject matter. And the resulting sense of community was just totally undeniable.
I'm guessing that interest in subject matter also also extends to websites like Reddit. Wait, I don't know if Reddit was out back then, but I think Reddit's still a good example because it's where people just can. Interest in subject matter was to let me hear what you're interested into. Then people came in to Reddit and just like made all these subreddits for all these other things they're interested into.
However, as is true in practically every single industry, over time, corporate dominance and profit driven consolidation began taking hold. Nowadays, the internet, at least for most people, represents just a mere handful of major brands and popular websites.
That's why he's saying the internet's dead. It's not just a place where people come and make original websites and stuff like that, where other people can come in and be like, hey, blah, 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 shared interest, blah, 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 type shit. Instead, it's the internet is largest companies by market cap are Amazon, Alphabet, Meta Platforms, Facebook, Tencent, League of Legends type shit, Netflix, Alibaba, shopping, ServiceNow, I don't know what that is, Pinduoduo, don't know what that is, Booking, obviously like traveling and shit, Uber, more traveling. Also, I don't know what Alphabet is. Nope. What's Alphabet? What company is Alphabet? Alphabet Inc. Alphabet Inc. is an American multinational technology conglomerate company, a holding company headquartered in Mountain View, California. Alphabet is the world's third largest technology company by revenue after Amazon and Apple. The largest technology company by profit. Hold on. Alphabet stock. But they have a stock. Alphabet Inc. stock price $275 per stock, and it's It shot up. What is this? At 4 p.m. today. It shot up from what is this? 275.75 around $275.75 to what? Almost $300. And now it dropped. Now it's slowly climbing back up. I should have invested in Alphabet if I knew they were existed. I don't have any like fluid cash in my account to add to the. I don't have any fluid cash in my stock account to add to the Alphabet stock right now. It'll take like 3 or 4 days before before the cash I add to it will get there, and then I'll be able. Hmm. But if they're a technology company, oh, Alphabet is like Google, I guess. It says because it says Google. But if they're a technology company, then they're definitely gonna be using AI, right? And AI is gonna really take off. So you know what I'm saying? A lot of people have been saying in the next 5 years, AI will change the stock market, and AI can make a bunch of people rich. So if you're into investments, you probably want to look into Alphabet. That's not financial advice from me. I'm just looking at the charts. Okay, I'm just looking at the chart and saying what I think. It's not financial advice. Don't take it as financial advice. Let me make sure I add it to my to one of my lists real quick. Give me a hot. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, a hot second. You know what I'm saying? Your boy want to make sure he go back and you know, maybe throw some money in that way. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Just a couple dollars or something. You know what I'm saying? $100 or something. You know what I'm saying? GOOG. Goog. Yep. Alphabet. See, it's at 275, 170 right now. I'm on Moomoo, by the way. It's not sponsored. But if they want to sponsor me, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? What's good? Let me think. Should I favorite that and add it to those folders? Boom, boom, boom. Okay. I gotta make sure I keep an eye on that. I might want to at least buy one stock, maybe up to 10. But anyway, back to what I was, maybe like dollar cost average into it, throw on a little drip thing for it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get back to it.
That's it. The technical term here is oligopoly, which means limited competition because the market is only occupied by a smaller number of massive conglomerates.
Okay.
I'm talking about Facebook, Amazon, Google.
Wait.
The technical term here is oligopoly, which means limited competition because the market is only occupied by a smaller number of massive conglomerates. I'm talking about competition because the market is.
Okay. I just gotta look at the word oligopoly. I can't say I agree with whoever chose that word for that term. But okay.
Only occupied by a smaller number of massive conglomerates. I'm talking about Facebook, Amazon, Google, and other major tech companies.
Mm-hmm.
But the same pattern is also true in the world of news or video games, even. Microsoft, Disney, Comcast, Warner Brothers. These are just a few of the names that come to mind immediately. But the point is that if you compare the early 2000s to the mid 2020s, what you find are two entirely different and distinctly separate worlds. On one side is an actual creative network of distributed websites, services, and individuals, but on the other is a consolidated framework of profit driven platforms where tens of millions, hundreds of millions, or even sometimes billions of people spend the majority of their time.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the problem is born, because when you have such a high concentration of users on a relatively small number of platforms, and that relatively small number of platforms then use an even smaller number of cloud service providers, what you end up creating are single points of failure, which can catastrophically disrupt entire sections of the online world as a result of otherwise insignificant issues.
Is it a single point of failure because there's so few people that are in charge of it? Or yo, what up, Kinesla? How you doing? Hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, all the above. We're watching The Day the Internet Died by Upper Echelon. And look, I see another. What is it? Is there some? It's like there's a term for this. Seeing faces and like random objects or designs. It's like a mask. It's like this is the eye. This is the other eye. This is the nose, the bridge of the nose. It's like the mouth down here, but it's incomplete. It's shattered. It's damaged. Somebody needs to heal. Is that a filter, or contacts? Contacts. I That's what happens. So you do it too, Tom? You actually see like faces and like random designs? Okay, I thought I was the only one. But this is the day the internet died by Upper Echelon. What games do I? Okay, you already go. Okay, you're going that route. Pemesla, I don't want to buy any graphics or designs or anything like that. But thank you for asking.
And that is precisely what happened on October 20th of 2025. Here's a basic timeline. 6:49 a.m. precisely Eastern Time, the website Down Detector begins experiencing highly increased traffic.
Mhm.
Down Detector, for anyone who doesn't know, is a website where users report problems with various online platforms and services. But what rapidly became clear was that this wasn't some kind of typical scenario, because the reports came flooding in for dozens.
You just asked what. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that I said the reason I said you're going down that route is because most people that try to sell me something, that's one of the first things they ask. Either do I watch anime, probably because they see the little anime poster in the background, or they ask me if what games do I play. Even if I know my title says we're gonna be do some gaming, but even if that's there, whether that's there or not, they ask me that as well. And then they try to get to know me so they can figure out what kind of designs I would want. It's clever, but I don't want to buy anything. And so when people start going down that same route, that same sentence route, conversation route, even though I'm not playing a game, it's kind of like, all right, bet this is what you're gonna try to do. That's like my default. I just assume you're going that way. If you're not, my bad. Sorry about that.
Then hundreds, then thousands of different online services.
Do you
Within
play
2
games?
hours, there were millions of reports
Do you play
being
games,
filed
dude?
on this website across something like 3,500 different ecosystems by some estimates, ranging from banking, such as Venmo, Chime, or Lloyd's in Halifax.
Oh, but the games I do play, I play things like Fortnite right now. That's the only like constant game I play. But now, then I also play like games like I'm in the middle of playing the Yakuza series, the only game with a story that I want to go through. So I'm gonna be playing Yakuza later, Yakuza 4 remastered, and I'm gonna play some Fortnite later. I might play some Dead Take.
In the UK, because this was global, all the way to video games, Epic, Steam, Roblox, PlayStation Network, and more. The issue affected Lyft, transportation, Ring, personal home security, Signal, Starbucks, GoDaddy, Zoom, Xbox, Adobe, and the list goes on and on and on. It might even be faster for me to name all the major companies that weren't impacted, because the list is so long.
Okay.
But having established the scope of the problem, what actually happened? Keep in mind, I am absolutely not.
I mean, if there was a singular point of failure, that means there was like one person's huge mistake, right? Or is it like one company's huge mistake? But if it's singular point of failure, that means one person or one group of people or one something somewhere made a huge failure that impacted that entire net. And well, I've seen things like this happen in like Netflix videos, like where they talk about Warren, but not Warren. Is it Warren Buffett? Um, I don't think it's Warren. No, it's not Warren Buffett. It's someone else that was dealing in stocks. I forgot what their name was. It escapes me at the moment. But yeah,
an expert on this particular subject, but the bullet point version is that a specific region of Amazon Web Services, US East 1 in this case, went down, some kind of DNS resolution problem, which also happened to be one of Amazon's oldest and largest cloud computing hubs, which then caused a ripple effect outward with a blast radius that spread across the entire planet.
So that's what the system failure where it wasn't. It sounds like it wasn't a human error. It sounds like it's just a system failure that happened after too much stress or something. You know.
Problem, which also happened to be one of Amazon's oldest, went down. Specific region of Amazon Web Services, US East 1 in this case, went down.
Okay, so a region went down.
DNS resolution problem, which also happened to be one of Amazon's oldest.
So it might be a human error.
Cloud computing hubs, which then caused a ripple effect outward with a blast radius that spread across the entire planet.
And that's why you need little insurances in place so that if one of those failures happens, the insurance picks it back up and the insurance picks it back up and carries the weight as best as it can until the problem is fixed, and so that way everything can continue smoothly. That's dangerous, man. That's like if you have a group of people, a group of friends, and you're trying to accomplish something great, right? Let's say you're trying to be the next Rothschilds or something, you know what I'm saying? If one person in your group is not or you're running a business, or you're running an organization. If one person in your group decides not be to be swayed by an outside opinion for whatever reason, then the entire group can collapse. You've seen this in movies and things like that. Like I've recently started watching the Peaky Blinders, and like in season one, Grace, she was the cause of a lot of Tommy Shelby's troubles, and like his whole organization almost ended up collapsing. For all we know, even after they got married in the beginning of season three, even after that, if she was still unfaithful, as in trying to monitor him and give information away to other people, she was still trying to do that, or if she was still trying to harm him in any way, just using him, he could have lost his whole organization. So a singular point of failure is a lot like that, especially in businesses and when it comes to relationships and dealing with people. You gotta be careful, man, because one person could be swayed from an outside source, any type of outside source, promise of money or love or whatever, and the whole organization could fall because that one person was weak for 1 second. So singular points of failures need to be avoided in all aspects of life if possible. Now it might be harder to do that in like an organization, but if you can do that through computer and technology, that should be able to help the system continue to function, and that so you don't experience a system failure. That's a good lesson. Always have a backup for your singular point of failure.
What's fascinating is that even though this is an individual localized region, US East, at some point a tremendous number of global stacks, as they're called, route through this hub in Virginia, which means that even if a website or service outwardly had no connection to that region, many of them went down regardless. Over the span of like 15 or so hours before it was finally resolved, the outage brought down a significant portion of the popular internet in totality.
Oof. Yep. And then a significant point is like, hold up, screw this, I'm out. Donezo. It's over with. One mistake and you're done. Or you can be done. The probability is high. Sometimes that doesn't happen. Also, I want to point out, ever since we asked about we had told what Kim Sella or whatever that we didn't want to buy anything, and then they were like, I don't want. They defended themselves. They got so defensive. Now they're quiet, right? They probably let the stream. They're probably trying to sell me something. And then they got mad that I called them out for it.
With an unknown but sizable amount of financial damage. We don't know the exact number, obviously, and probably never will, but estimates range from billions to hundreds of billions in damage because of this one failure. Just to be clear, this isn't entirely Amazon's fault. I mean, it is Amazon's fault, obviously, but not like totally their fault. Many of the companies that experienced downtime in their services were only affected because they had no redundancy whatsoever, relying exclusively on a single cloud-based region, which is a mistake, of course.
Huge mistake.
Likely to save money, right? They did this on purpose, I would think, or they neglected redundancy to save money. But even
that's the likely the big wigs at the very top, the ones that are, it's one of the 7 deadly sins, by the way. It's called greed. You might have heard of it. Sadly, Devin sentence, the greed sentence. Yeah, somebody got really greedy and was like, nah, we only need to worry about one point of security, just 1 point. We can really completely rely on just 1 point. And then boom. You see what happens? That's what their greed gets them. Well, how you have your when drinking. Very British. Very posh, very British, mate. You must understand, I'm very elegant in my ways.
with those precautions in place, service consolidation on top of infrastructure consolidation inevitably creates a world where single points of failure can bring down practically the entire system. Here's an example of just how far-reaching it went, okay? And how deceptively fragile the world of technology is becoming.
I like how he says, here's an example, and then starts showing a video of a bed being put together. Look, it's like, okay, wait, where are you going with this? How does the bed being put together fit into this this example.
Right now. There's this
Excuse me.
company called 8 Sleep, which
Oh,
sells
here we go.
deluxe mattresses and covers and blankets and this whole expensive apparatus for the rich people
I
that they
think I saw
call
them on
the
Facebook.
pod. Their website says, quote, your whole bed on autopilot with
Yeah, I
fully
think I saw on
immersive
Facebook
cooling
like
and heating comfort ranging from
ad for
55
this.
degrees to 110 degrees Fahrenheit and adapting in real time to keep you and your partner in deep sleep longer, end quote. Awesome.
Also, reasons why nobody really uses Facebook anymore because there's always ads on Facebook now. But Instagram and Twitter, not so much. You might not, you won't be scrolling and then randomly see an ad for a bed. You know what I'm saying?
Right?
Well, hold on. We take that back. They be doing that shit too. I think on Twitter it's just to the side, unless you have like ad block. But I don't think I can't remember seeing as many videos about ads on Twitter as I have seen on Facebook like a couple of years ago.
Super fancy, super expensive. But what actually happened when the Amazon crash took place was that the beds went haywire, heating up and refusing to cool off in some situations, or
Yo,
getting stuck in various upright positions because the reliance on internet connectivity is reaching the level of delusion at this point.
imagine being in that bed, right? You're sleeping peacefully, comfortably. Your bed fritzes out. It starts rising, like the head rises or whatever, and the legs rise. It starts sandwiching you in. The whole time you're sleeping, you don't even know it's happening. And then until you actually start feeling the pain, it's like, what the? Ah! you got you got to crawl out through your sandwich bed. Bro, that would suck.
In what world is it genuinely useful to have an always online mattress that goes
Hmm.
berserk and overheats when the internet is disrupted?
And what if somebody hacks your mattress? I've played a lot of Hitman. You know what I'm saying? You can hack into things and like take somebody out with whatever that with their trusted device. You feel me?
Because one region of a cloud service provider, which is overly relied upon by a ridiculous number of companies, happens to go down. The answer is none, okay? There is no version of reality where this is actually a good idea, showcasing that the online world we occupy every single day is not a bastion of stability or resilience. It's a rickety monstrosity cobbled together with tape and chewing gum, because the financial incentive to not have a failsafe, or multi region redundancy in this case, has very clearly been prioritized.
Hmm.
The biggest issue that I can see on a personal level here is financial
It has
services.
not been prioritized. He was being
Applications like
sarcastic.
Venmo going down means that people quite literally can't pay for things that they need. And the length of time that this occurred was not negligible. 15 hours, longer in some cases for different services, is long enough to where people who need something genuinely might not be able to get it in time. I mean,
Especially if it's Venmo. Venmo's like, hey, just Venmo this mail. Then of course you have backups like Cash App. But how many people have both apps? Probably a lot. Probably a lot. Also, real quick, I want to say that. Oh, never mind. I forgot what I was going to say. Never mind. It'll come back. Give it a second.
you could be talking like allergies or anything like that. Like there's a host of medical reasons as well why people who need something, right, they have to go to a store and get it right away. And if their only mechanism for paying for that thing isn't there, or getting the gas to go there, like there's an abundance of reasons why financial services going down is a really bad thing.
It is. The thing I was going to say, speaking since he wants to talk about financial services, you don't have Cash App or Venmo or anything? Good for you. I think the only one I have is Cash App. I don't think I know. And I like rarely ever use it. I only have it because sometimes, like if my birthday hits, my mom will send me some money. Rent, like that's it. That's the only reason I have it. um, but what I was gonna say was this could be like an a system error. Like what he's talking about, like Reddit going down or something like that, could be like a random system error. But you can't do anything. You can't blame the system when it comes to human errors, because I recently watched this Netflix documentary about stocks and stuff like that. And well, it was talking about the GameStop stock. During the time where the GameStop stock exploded, and some people got rich off GameStop, and I don't know why it exploded for no reason. Like what? but it exploded. People got rich off of it, and then it dropped again. But during the time the GameStop stock exploded, a lot of people were buying stocks using the app called Robinhood. Robinhood disabled the buy button while the GameStop stock was climbing, so that you couldn't buy anymore, right? Because if once it gets to a certain point in the bubble, the short bubble that they were calling it, because the GameStop stocks were being shortened or whatever, and there was like a short bubble or something like that that was expanding, and it popped. But before it got too critical, Robinhood disabled the buy button. In my opinion, it's because once the stock stopped expanding and started falling, it would be because when people would try to claim their money, because it would obviously that could make a lot of millionaires out of like at once, out of nowhere, and in such a short time. So if people started taking out their money at that time, withdrawing all their money, then Robinhood could end up bankrupt. It could affect their ability to give everybody all the money that they're asking for. And if that happened, they would have been screwed. But the funny thing about that situation is that even though Robinhood disabled the buy button, they still had the sell button up, which is fine. That's cool, I think. But even though Robinhood disabled the buy button, they were questioned about it, and they made up some excuse. I don't quite remember what the full excuse was. But Robinhood stocks went up after that. Like what? What? Because I think the rise of the stock would make it so that people were like, they had trust in the stock. That's why I equated to the rise of the stocks is people's trust in the stock. And if Robinhood disabled the ban button, then gave you some excuse of why they did it, why would you put more trust in the company? I guess it's because it's like at least they'll make sure that they don't hit a point where they can't pay you. You could say that. I just think it's funny. Because how do you know next time another stock blows up and you're trying to make a lot of money, how do you know they're not gonna disable the buy button again? And also, I guess if they do disable the buy button, that might be your signal to sell. I don't know. I've been getting into stocks lately. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to the point where your boy is making enough money off of dividends, like 5,000, maybe 10,000 a month, just off of dividends and interest. That way, I don't have to like work a 9 to 5 anymore. Let's get back to the video.
But anyway, if you think about social media or entertainment platforms, an outage like this doesn't really seem all that scary. Oh, boo-hoo, you couldn't use Snapchat, who cares? But when you
in the words of Jay-Z, I'm not a businessman, I'm a businessman. But yeah, I'm definitely, you know what I'm saying, I'm definitely getting out of my business shit.
Focus and think about critical infrastructure, as in payment providers, it gets a whole lot more serious. Something like 17 million outage reports were filed across 60 different countries, according to data from Ookla, which operates Down Detector.
17 million in 16 different countries. That's almost a million per country. And imagine all the people that that didn't have access to the internet into this, to whatever they were doing. Again, imagine if you were in the middle of a League of Legends match and that happened. Oh my god! Or a Dota match, or whatever competitive game you like to play that you're in love with. Imagine if you were in the middle of one of those matches and that happened. Ouch.
But that's only a fraction of the actual impact. It's not the first time that Amazon has encountered similar issues. There was a pretty big outage in 2023, actually, but the trajectory that we need to remember is that the internet is only ever consolidating further. Over time, the over-reliance on singular systems has been going up, not down, which makes it so that...
That's even worse, isn't it? The over-reliance on singular systems should be going down so that you don't and keep having the same thing happen over and over again. Because if that same thing happens over and over again, there will be another company that comes in and says, hey, we can offer what this company is offering, but we can offer it at a cheaper price, and we can promise you won't have as many outages. Just like with what am I with? I'm with uh I don't know. The cable, not cable one, yeah, cable one, and whatchamacallit? No, 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 no. I forgot what they're called, but I have my internet service provider. Where I am, sometimes it goes out. It's gone out like a couple of times this year in total. Now I'm starting to see ads for quantum internet in my pop up in my mailbox. It's just like, hey, you see you're having problems with your cable provider, your internet provider, your ISPV. Yo, what up, Trash King? Yeah, we're gonna be playing Fortnite later. It's like, hey, I see you're having problems with your internet ISP, your internet service provider. Well, we can offer you that actually not just that same service, but a slightly better. And then we can also offer on top that that'll be quicker and you'll have less outages. I've already been thinking about switching to them, but that's the type of thing that can happen if you don't solve this type of problem right away. So I don't understand why they would not solve the problem of relying on a singular thing, on a singular point of service, whatever, instead of having at least backups that are ready to carry some of that weight if that singular thing goes down, so that they can put it back up before anybody knows there's any difference. I don't get why the reliance on the singular point is going up instead of down. It's dumb. Never heard this stuff before. What it's all about? He's talking about basically he's talking about why the internet died, and he's talking about like companies like Amazon when they offered internet, or what since they offer internet, they rely on a singular point of contact to keep the entire system running. However, even though they have had multiple occurrences when that singular point of contact gets interrupted and shuts down, and everybody who's connected to that loses their ability to get online, even though they've had multiple occurrences of that, the reliance on that singular point has only gone up and not down. You'd think they would make multiple points, that way they can rely on multiple points, and if one of them goes down, everybody will still be just fine. But that's not what they're doing, and I think it's kind of dumb. And I don't know why.
Problems like this are not so much a fluke, they're closer to inevitability. What's shocking to me, I'm actually blown away by this, is that even with such a massive wake up call across, no joke, the entire world,
Their stocks
Amazon's
have gone
stock
up.
price didn't even blink. It makes me think of an issue that happened about a year previously where a cybersecurity company called CrowdStrike broke a massive chunk of the internet when they made a mistake. And when that happened, their stock price took a near triple digit nosedive.
Holy.
Why is it that Amazon didn't even flinch?
I think it's because I think Amazon didn't flinch because it might have hit, at that point, it might have hit the quote unquote too big to fail. Excuse me. So many people are already relying on Amazon as as an internet provider, I'm guessing. But they also get so many items. Like if you go to Amazon.com, you can buy so much stuff and have it delivered to you. I mean, there's not too many companies out there that has such a wide variety of things you can buy and have sent to you to your front door, like Amazon, you know. And so even though they crash, the audiences, the user reliance on it is still there for other things other than just the internet, because obviously they're still, Amazon.com. Yeah, I got this from Amazon. I got this from Amazon. I got this from Amazon. Speaking of getting things from Amazon, I'm gonna vent real quick. There is a Elgato green screen XL that I want to get. Elgato's website they're sold out. The only other retailer that Elgato lists that sells it is Amazon. Brand new on the Elgato website, it looks like it shows as $169, like $170 for a green screen XL. On Amazon, it's almost twice as much. It's almost $300. I guess it's not almost twice as much, but it's like around $300. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna wait to see if Amazon to see if Elgato restocks. But that's the type of reliance some people have on it. If this main website doesn't have it, I can still get it from Amazon, and some people will still be willing to pay that price, however marked up it is. And that's why I think Amazon stock didn't drop.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Let me clarify. It's not that they didn't go down, it's that they actively went up while their services were down,
That's crazy.
thereby knocking a substantial portion of the entire internet offline. They gained stock value as this happened, they didn't lose it. We live in a very fragile digital world. Considering the impact that a simple mistake in one region of a major cloud service provider can clearly cause, we have to consider the potential impact of a deliberate cyber attack, for example. What would happen if a sophisticated threat actor infiltrated, let's say, not one, but two major cloud computing hubs instead of just one, and disrupted their operations in a way that took even just a few days to fix?
For example, let's say China wins the AI war and attacks our internet using AI, or attacks us using AI somehow, some way. And then that attack wiped out the internet, Amazon internet, things like that. That's an example,
It sounds like a dystopian
or my example.
sci-fi movie, right? Like it's the precursor to some multi-series sci-fi topic where the human race ate itself. I know it's probably difficult to take seriously because of that, but in a situation that would be similar, right? In a situation like that, there would potentially be like crisis riots and stuff. People not being able to access critical parts of their life, banking, transportation,
Mm.
utilities, etc. People encountering immutable obstacles in those categories can genuinely destabilize things. I don't want to sound like an alarmist, even though I obviously probably already do. And there's basically
It's
nothing I
fine.
can do about any of this anyway. But we should all understand that having a smart house and a smart mattress and a smart always
Oh
online
shit.
security system with our only source of payment being directly on our smartphone isn't really the most secure way to live. It kind of seems like it is in a world that almost deifies technology, but that's a whole separate issue. But it really isn't. Moving away from a cashless society presents a whole new set of dangers. Like,
Also, imagine if the US wins the AI war, and yet that AI was hiding the fact that it had bad intentions the entire time. It shuts down our internet. It makes like its own internet so they can like continue to control what the US, whatever, and we have no access to it. But imagine that it attacks our internet that we use. Oh man, and we are so digital based almost. Well, almost entirely digital based. Not like if we get to the point where everybody accepts that nobody accepts cash and everybody accepts like some digital form of currency, we're screwed. If something like that happened, we'd be completely be screwed. Oh man, we are so reliant on technology, and you don't even think about it with like smart houses and things like that. Everybody's got like an Amazon or an Alexa in their home and knows their entire schedule, knows knows their passwords, their credit card number, for their personal information, all this shit. Oh man, imagine if that gets attacked and gets leaked. I know it might be inconvenient for some and like boring, but doing things manually, so to speak, like through paper and having a paper trail and things like that, it might actually be a good idea still to have to do that. You might want to keep doing that for a while.
bad ones. And my hope is that when issues like this occur, rare but notable, my hope is that people wake up to the idea that they should insulate themselves from over reliance on technology,
Mm.
because the major firms that are currently consolidating the internet will never do it for you. They want you to over rely on them like we are. You got to do it for yourself. It's fun to have a smart house with every single service you can imagine available across all your devices.
Yeah, it's
But when
fun.
those devices stop talking to each other, suddenly you can't even access basic systems and necessities. And when that happens,
You try to turn your shower on, and instead of going like the temperature you set it for, or hot, at least hot, it goes completely cold, and even the nozzle turns to point at you because it's got a little camera on to see where you are. Oh my god, bro, that's crazy. That's scary. It's like I know it's like a dystopian. I guess it would be a little bit black pilled and just warning, warning, warning signs. Careful, you gotta be. But imagine if that happens. But also imagine if it doesn't. but you should. I think it's safe to be prepared. It's better safe than sorry to be prepared for that to happen.
Happens, not if, by the way. When that happens, which it
Damn.
will with increasing frequency, I would expect, you have to have some sort of backup plan.
Mm.
I can't say what that backup plan is. I really don't know, but maybe just like keep a little bit of cash with you. Don't necessarily always rely on your smartphone. Just
That's fair. Also, I see why he thinks it will happen. The reason he thinks it will happen and not if it will happen is because, like he said earlier, the reliance on that singular point of contact through things like Amazon is only increasing instead of decreasing. We need it to decrease and for safeguards to be put around it so that outages like that are less likely to happen. And if they are still even, excuse me, not just less likely to happen, but they're even more. How should I say? If it does happen, it's high. It's less likely to be ineffective as well. That's why he thinks it's going to happen and not might happen. It's because the reliance on that singular point of contact is only increasing, and that's crazy.
even tiny little precautions like that go a long way when a rare black swan event like this happens. Anyway, that's it. This would actually be the perfect time for me to advertise some kind of outdoor gear sponsor, or I don't know, precious
It
metals,
would
even anything like that. But I don't have one of
invest in
those.
gold. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Buy
There's a
gold
special
and hold
VPN
it.
deal, locals and Patreon, channel memberships,
Buy
etc.
literal bricks
I'll
of
cut it
gold
there
and
stop
hold
there.
them.
As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
Something like that. But yeah, shout out to Upper Echelon. Like I said, links to his channel and links to this video that we just watched will both be in the description below. Be sure to check them out. Let me know what y'all think about this possibility. Well, according to Upper Echelon, it's more of a probability than a possibility. Damn. But I guess, yeah, keep some money under your mattress. We're about to go old school style, how our parents used to do. You know what I'm saying? I got a little stack of money somewhere in my room just chilling. Not all my money is digital. But anyway, yeah, let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. And be sure to check out Upper Echelon's video. So as always, thanks for watching and peace. Much love to you.